Hello there, great person, and welcome back to my journey into Warhammer 40K. So this is the second video, and all you great people have recommended so much stuff, and I'm gonna work through it a bit. And I'm gonna start today with, you probably read it in the title as well. What the frick is Warhammer 40K by I think it's Luetin09. Let me check. Luetin09. So he's one of the people you recommended me, and I will watch all of the videos. So don't be sad if it's not the one you recommended. I will get to those as well. Can't wait to get into this. But I was thinking a lot. I thought, should I better like react to like videos like the Astartes one, because then I could like guess stuff, or should I just get a basis, like a basic understanding of what am I even watching? And I thought short basis, so I will watch this full beginner's guide, every major faction. It's 20 minutes long, so I can get the gist, and then I might do some videos on some Space Marines. I think that, yeah, they're the Astartes, and you said they're Space Marines, and I've heard the term Space Marines, of course, but I didn't know it was from Warhammer 40K. I thought that was StarCraft, and I'm an idiot, and you will laugh at me now a lot. And you, yeah, that's okay, laugh at me. That's why I'm here for, at least partly. So anyway, so I thought they were from StarCraft, but they are from Warhammer 40K, so Space Marines. They are Space Marines. So yeah, I might watch more Space Marine videos and stuff, but today I will just get an overview over the factions. Like I said already, I know the Tyranids because those are the ones, like when I was young, a friend of mine or someone in my class, he had the Warhammer figures, and he told me about them, and I said, yeah, they are pretty cool. And then I wanted to read up on them, and I saw the factions, and I clicked through all of them, but I don't remember them. I just remember the Tyranids because that's where I like got stuck, and I looked at all the cool little weirdo monsters. So anyway, let's just get going, and thank you so much for the support that you've given me in the last video. I didn't think there would be so many people interested in that video, but thank you so much also for the many comments, for letting me know all the cool stuff, and thank you so much everyone who commented there and who watched the video, supported it. Yeah, I will link the original video that I'm gonna watch, about to watch now, of course, in the comments. So if you haven't watched that, go there first, watch the video, like that, and yeah, if you like this video, like that, of course, as well, and subscribe if you want to see my journey through Warhammer 40K. But I rambled on enough. I do that sometimes. We're just gonna get into that, and let's see what factions there are in Warhammer 40K, save for the Tyranids and the Space Marines. Let's go. Oh, that's pretty professional. I like that. I hope I won't get demonetized by reacting to this. We'll see. Okay, we are in the far future. I already knew that. Why is there war, though? Why? Okay. I'm gonna pause it here, and I hope you don't mind me pausing this stuff because I want to get everything. So, the Emperor of Man, the Carrion Lord. Carrion Lord. That sounds cool. He's probably cool. And probably horribly tyrannical, but yeah. For whom 1,000 souls die every day, human blood, human flesh, the stuff of which the Imperium is made. Ah, yes, Imperium. I'm an Imperium guy. I hate rebels. I'm an empire. Long live the empire. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for there is no peace among the stars. Oh, I hope there's a faction that will do understanding. I love understanding. Like corrupted understanding. That would be cool. If there are people like that, I will like them. Or things like that. The universe is a big place, and whatever happens, you will not be missed. Okay, that's a good start. Let's go. Oh, I love that already. Great setup. Adeptus Illuminati. Okay. Don't know who they are, but they seem to have a cheery outlook or a cheery view on life. Primer.
Welcome to the first in my series of primers focused on the universe of Warhammer 40,000. If you're watching this, you may well be brand new to the all-encompassing hobby
yes, I am.
We call 40k.
And I'm sorry to interrupt him, I just want to see, like, I analyze this picture a bit, if you don't mind. So Got a cathedral, a love cathedral. This looks like a corrupted Anno Londo a bit. And there are people on the ground, and there is this weird spaceship. And I think that's a Space Marine spaceship, isn't it? Because this here? Because I'm pretty sure that's the same thing we saw last time.
But what is it? What's
Yeah,
it all
what is
about,
it?
and why should you consider looking into it any further? Well, for one reason, in recent times, people's appetites have been reawakened to highly immersive TV series like Game of Thrones, or movie franchises with a decent backstory.
Yeah,
40K
that's my channel
considerably
name.
far beyond these examples. It is one of the biggest miniature war games in the world. It is created and owned by Games Workshop, a UK-based company producing tabletop games and associated materials.
Yeah, okay, so these figures, I love them. Like, I always wanted those. Like I would love to get them, like, paint them and, I don't know, play with them. And, like, I've got a 3D printer, like, I do that for work a bit. So I would love to 3D print stuff, but I know they're quite expensive, and yeah, so I never got them because of that. But I will probably down the line I will get one like those, because I wanted them since I was 12. So I will give in to the hunger for those one day. So let's go. That looks so cool. Oh! There are Tyranids here. I think they are Tyranids. It's so cool. What? Wait, Space Hulk is. I think I've played that with a friend of mine. Do I have that game? I think I have the game. I think I played one level. But wouldn't I have recognized it? I don't know. Wow, look at that. That's so cool.
The area of play will be set with terrain pieces, often crafted and painted by the players, and they will alternate turns moving their miniature soldiers or vehicles, and will resolve engagements through random dice rolls according to specific rules and combinations of preset unit stats.
Okay, so does that mean that you I'm not sure, perhaps you will explain it and I'm talking too much and I'm an idiot, but does that mean that you can create your own like boards? Like, I always understood it as like there's a textbook and you have the scenario and you play that all the time, and then you can like decorate the play field, but the play field is set, so you can create your own ones. It's pretty cool. I also like the buildings here a lot. It's probably pretty fun to design those. Like, it's probably pretty easy to do that. Like, okay, not pretty easy. It's probably depends on how detailed you want them to be. It might be pretty hard actually, but like with Blender or so, would be so fun, yeah.
There may or may not be a mission for one side to achieve, and these games can be highly strict or open to player interpretations.
Oh. There are soldiers. Oh. That's a zombie, I think. Is that a zombie Space Marine? Looks like that.
Now comes the challenge for me, summarizing 40K.
Let's go.
So Warhammer 40,000 is set in the distant future, a future beset by galactic war, from a skirmishing city turf war level through to planetary conquest and system-wide campaigns fought through its space and planets. It is far more pessimistic than most other deep lore universes, and also regularly borders on what you would describe as space horror.
I'm in. You SOB, I'm in. I love space horror so much. I think it's my favorite. Like, if you count cosmic horror as space horror, it's my favorite kind of horror. Like, Lovecraft is my favorite horror author. I know that's cliche, but like those ideas, like this, the terrifying vastness and darkness of space and weird intelligences lurking behind stars and black holes and nukes and stars. And oh god, I love that so much. Love that so much.
Now, 40K is primarily focused around humanity, which has through many thousands of years achieved an unimaginable level of technology.
Yeah, that's
and
the
then lost the
Event
majority
Horizon
of
ship.
its zenith through a devastating war. Humanity after this ancient war was left broken and fragmented across the galaxy. It would be later reunified by one godlike individual known as the Emperor of Man, and he would set in motion the new order for mankind known as the Imperium of Man.
Is that the Emperor? Like he looks like very angelic. I've seen angels as well in one of the pictures, and of course here, like there's an angel here. Very interesting. So, how did he unite them? I hope I get to know about that down the line. That sounds very cool. Like, how did he manage to unite a fractured universe?
But a devastating civil war known as the Horus Heresy would befall mankind before the Emperor could complete his goals for humanity, and he would instead now become a living corpse enshrined on Earth or Terra.
Okay. So this Horus thing, I've heard that. I think someone wrote that in the comments. So he wanted to unify them, but before he was done with his goals, they like buried him alive or something and sealed him on Terra, which is of course Earth, but
Humanity would become shattered by this civil war, and after a slow, painful recovery, it has become for the longest time a stagnant civilization. Suffocating under its own bureaucracy, the Imperium has begun making the smallest steps toward advancement in the most recent days of its history, but it still stands as a strange juxtaposition of ancient tech that is beyond the comprehension of many of its citizens. It is a weak and precarious civilization, simultaneously able to wield immense military power.
that is so cool. That is so cool. I love that. I love that. So it's the old trope. No, it's not a trope. It's the idea of like we get very technologically advanced, and then people don't know anymore what the technologies are. I mean, if we are fair, that's today. Like, who knows what's in like smartphone? Who does know? Like, okay, I know there are capacitors and stuff. Like, but I'm a I'm a physicist, so I should know that a bit. And like you just use it, you don't have no idea anymore. And if you would like, I don't know, down the line we might think of this as almost as magic and as alien and stuff. I love that. Okay, so the common people forgot things. Technology is magical a bit. Like, at least that's what I get from them. They have, of course, terrifying weapons, which of course they do.
Humanity itself, through thousands of years of conflict with alien races who are more often than not excessively hostile, has become a highly xenophobic race. It views almost all other races as needing to be exterminated and has almost no morals or ethics as to how this is to be achieved.
Okay, so they've turned into Daleks. It's interesting. So all other alien races being hostile, that's like a solution of the Fermi paradox. I don't know if you know the Fermi paradox, you probably do. It's like, why don't we detect other life? Because yeah, what's one of the answers? One of the answers to that question, we don't know the answer. So one of the proposed answers is, yeah, aliens are so hostile to just kill each other instantly, and that's why we don't see them. So this apparently is one of those, like they live that scenario by just being xenophobic, which in this case might be even justified. Like, I don't think we will have some, oh, kumbaya aliens. I don't know. I don't think we will have that. I somehow doubt we will.
The galaxy-spanning empire of humanity is essentially a totalitarian state that worships the Emperor of Man.
Oh God,
the Imperium of Man
slaves,
has
great.
large, if not complete, control over its citizens, including many aspects of their lives, economy, social life, education, private lives, science, and indoctrination into its ideology. Any who are not seen to be a follower of the Emperor may and will be persecuted as heretics, and this is often largely open to interpretation and leads to large-scale abuses of power and executions. The Imperium uses this deeply entrenched worship and imperial ideology to control and mobilize mass populations of its citizenry for its armies like the Imperial Guard and...
Is that an ATST? That looks like an ATST. But yeah, I mean, such an indoctrinated society, you could probably only do that in a future world. Like, I don't think you could do that nowadays. Like, of course, many people are indoctrinated nowadays, but like you have to really, really be thorough in exterminating human nature that wants to be free. But I think they might do that, especially in such a hostile world. Like, if things get hostile, you get more primal. I guess it's very likely that people would actually go with this, like, to survive. So
Imperial fleet. It also will utilize its citizens to fulfill whatever role is needed. These roles can, and often are, fairly unpleasant, especially when the rule of law is often severe and absolute. Humanity also wields in its arsenal the Emperor's greatest gift, the military sledgehammer known as the Imperial Astartes. These are the iconic Space Marines, genetically enhanced superhuman warriors who represent the pinnacle of human modification and military power.
So, are they like is it like in Starship Troopers that the people like Space Marines are like the higher class in society as well, or don't they care? Are they just like blood-hungry people?
Forces have access to some of the most powerful weapons and force multipliers humanity wields. Much of this tech is ancient and requires careful care and repair by specialists dedicated to retaining this critical knowledge. But as powerful as humanity is, even with its small progression in its most recent times, it still stands on the edge of annihilation by various alien races or entities. Humanity somehow has survived to this point despite being on an almost permanent risk of complete destruction and forced extinction. Within the lore, this has nearly happened on multiple occasions, and what is left of humanity now in the Imperium of Man are the remnants of those survivors.
I love that. That's so good. That's so good. That's so interesting. It's like they've gone back to being primal and just aggressive, and it almost seems like evolution. It's a kind of evolution because you adapt to like on a societal level, you adapt to the nature, and if the nature is increasingly more and more hostile, you get more and more hostile or defensive. And obviously they went into hostility as well, and into savagery and into ideologies that like fuel beliefs and this God Emperor person. And interesting, very cool. Very cool.
Ignorant, fearful people in a fairly constant state of decay.
Very primal, very cool.
Technological information is often lost. The Imperium and humanity's primary goals are to locate lost technology from the zenith period of mankind, known as the Dark Age of Technology, otherwise referred to as the Golden Age. It also focuses upon the continued defense and expansion of its territories, and of course the extermination of all alien races, known collectively as the Xenos.
Okay, Xenos are to be eradicated because they try to eradicate us many times. I'm interested in the Zenith period. What happened? Why did it exactly collapse? Like, what was exactly the... Like, I love stories that tackle collapses of civilizations, like Foundation. Great story. Interesting. So why? Why did they collapse? And what do they want with the technology? They probably want, so they try to eradicate all races? That they, like, all the Xenos, all the... I mean, it just means aliens. Like, it's Latin for aliens, I think. Yeah, although aliens is also Latin, but never mind. I digress. Yeah, so they want to conquer the world to be safe, and what then? What then? That's gonna be interesting. What then? What's their plan then? Oh God, what are you?
Because humanity has become so violently and ignorantly xenophobic in the far future, it also has no qualms about committing planetary levels of genocide.
Is it though? I think it's a bit warranted. The way he tells me the story, it's a bit warranted. If everyone wants to kill you, you should, like... That's evolution. If you are not having the stance, you're gonna get wiped out. Like the other aliens, the way he said they're all hostile, so I wouldn't bet my luck on that, I think, but I'm not sure. What do you think?
If you're not human and don't worship the Emperor, then you are the enemy, a heretic, and must be exterminated.
Exterminate.
Diplomacy is almost not a thing for the Imperium, and the usual recourse is to just shoot on sight. In fairness though, there was a time where humanity had attempted a more diplomatic approach, but this over time has just disintegrated, with most of its contact with aliens resulting in some kind of conflict. It now simply believes all other life must be extinguished, or at the very least dominated and enslaved for work or experimentation.
Very well written. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, that makes sense. If you try to be diplomatic and they, like, hit you in the face all the time, of course you're gonna hit them back now. Though they're probably very cruel, but I mean, that's very, very well set up. I love the setup.
These cases are usually quite rare. There are 6 other races that are seen as the enemies of humanity.
Okay.
Any of these factions can be played by you within the tabletop game of 40K, or models for
Tyranids.
crafting and painting. Some players will dedicate themselves entirely to one faction, building it up, fleshing it out.
Oh God, what are you? What was that? What the frick? I know that's a Carnifex. I know my Tyranids, I just know them. It's so weird. I know so much about the names of the units because I read them all the time when I was young, but I know, like, what is that? What is this eye bug thing that's gonna, like, Jesus, this looks like half Cthulhu, half robot man, and I love this design. Like, this is so eerie. This looks like biotechnology merger of cosmic horror level. Jesus Christ, what the frick are you?
It out to the limit of their model making ability, and others may have multiple armies of different factions.
Necrons.
The
That
Necrons
sounds cool.
are a very ancient race, strange creatures that appear like metallic skeletons. They're actually formed of living metal. They span the galaxy and are in a
nanites.
continuing state of awakening from their tombs after many thousands of years of sleep. They seek to rebuild their empire and dominate the galaxy. One of their key abilities is that of reanimation. They can reassemble themselves after death and fight on.
That is so cool. So they're basically nanites that are that have preferred shapes for fighting, and it seems that these guys here, whatever these robo skeletons are, they're the best fighting method they have. Perhaps they found that they had to adapt to the other races like humans, and that's why they took the shape of these things. Like, why would they be bipedal, for example? But that's cool. So they're like nanites that are shaped into these weirdos, and they want to conquer the world. Who woke them up? Like, was that one of the diplomatic things the humans tried? It's like, oh, a weird pyramid, apparently, somewhere. Like, they showed me this cool pyramid. I think, yeah, there it is. There, just wait. There's this badass pyramid in the. Oh, you can't see it. I'm sorry. Yeah. See, there's this weird pyramid, and it's like the humans went there and see. Wow, this is a weird dark pyramid of death and gloom. Let's go in there and let's push some buttons. Oh, there are nanites. Oh, the nanites are becoming weird zombie things that we can't destroy anymore. Guess we can't talk with them anymore. Let's nuke them. And then the war started again. But who designed them? Like, if they are living metal, I mean, that's obviously nanites. I think. Perhaps I'm wrong. So if I'm wrong, tell me in the comments if they are not nanites. But to me, they really sound like nanites. Like nanites that are like trying to imitate life that they know has survived, so that they might survive too, perhaps. So their objective might also be like just survival and conquer. Yeah, but very cool design. So look at the gun, like it's like looks like plasma or whatever, plasma gun perhaps. And they can like reshape themselves, which is obvious for nanite creatures. So yeah.
Galaxy. One of their key abilities is that of reanimation.
Yeah.
They can reassemble themselves after death and fight on. They're also generally mindless automatons. How this came to be is another story.
Okay, so there is a story about that. I bet that is an experiment gone wrong. Like normally nanites always are these like it's basically grey goo, if you know what I mean. I'm not gonna go into that because I don't want to derail the video and I don't want to bore you, but seems like grey goo, but we'll find out down the line, I'm sure.
Now, Games Workshop has seen fit to recently rename some of its units, largely it seems for legal reasons, but since forever this faction has been known as the Eldar. More recently it is known as the Eldari, but basically it's the Eldar. These are derived from the elves of many more fantasy games and are basically space elves. Despite this quite simplistic analogy, the Eldar have a rich and tragic lore. Because of past disasters that have left the Eldar with no homeworlds to speak of, they now travel the galaxy in vast ships known as craft worlds.
Wow, that sucks. It's like the typical things, the elves. So that happens to elves. Like in every fantasy story I know, elves are wiped out in the end, or they leave. So this is a lot, like this is consistent with Lord of the Rings. Like this is where Bilbo's now in one of those. Like Grey Havens, there are spaceships. Don't know.
The Eldar
they look
wield
badass.
powerful weapons, but are generally physically weak, and they also have immense arrogance towards other races. Their defining feature, and to some degree their biggest flaw, is that the Eldar are very powerful when it comes to psykers and psychic abilities drawn from the warp. The Dark Okay. Drawn from the warp. Someone told me that the magic they use is drawn from this warp hell dimension.
Immaterium? I think I remember that. See, I remember things you read in the comments. So this Immaterium stuff somehow fuels their magic, which is badass. And I know that's the Eldritch Horror dimension that the Event Horizon ship from the movie went into. That's why I know it.
Dark Eldar are essentially space pirates who live lives of excess and sadistic torture porn.
Okay.
Anyone who looks like they're about to be captured by the Dark Eldar is rarely something that you would want to contemplate, and suicide would generally be significantly preferable.
Okay. What are they doing to people? Do I want to know? Is he gonna tell me, or is someone else gonna tell me in another video? Ah. Yeah, okay, so they are probably split off from the others, aren't they? Like from the other Eldars. Like they are pirates. Why would they live on pirate ships? They're probably living on pirate wars or whatever. Like dark elves. Very cool.
A faction of many faces and contradicting goals, Chaos is, as its name describes. It originates from the parallel dimension known as the Warp. This dimension is a reactive plane of existence that absorbs the most powerful emotions and desires of mortal creatures. The reactive Immaterium would lead to the birth of entities of godlike power, the Chaos Gods. They each focus on specific mortal desires. Khorne is the god of blood.
Wow, that is so cool. I love that. Interesting. I love that idea. I've written that in many of my horror stories. That's like one of the key things in my horror world that happens as well. Like that emotions, like, let's say it's similar, but I'm not going to spoil anything, and it doesn't matter here. So, but that's such a cool idea. So they have like, might be even very, very scary. You might have entities that are not from human desires, that are from alien desires, and suddenly there are these eldritch gods, and you just don't know what they even want and are. It's so cool. I love the concept. Chaos is a very interesting concept. Very, very cool. But how do they get material? Like, so was Sam Neill's character in Event Horizon a Chaos character? Was he from Chaos then? Because he turned into this weird thing in the end.
Representing war, rage, and hatred. Tzeentch is the changer representing ambition, scheming, conspiracy, and sorcery.
God, what was that?
Is a plague god representing mortality, morbidity, and despair.
Wait, Nurgle? Wasn't he in Warhammer Vermintide? I think I've fought against him. Like I play Vermintide with some of my friends sometimes. Yeah. So we've got the last girl. We always have a last girl. Of course, she has great personality, shows it off. But yeah, we've got the last girl. But yeah, Nurgle, I thought he was in. Is he in Vermintide?
And Slaanesh is the god of lust, greed,
See?
success, pleasure.
Yes, I knew it.
Perfection.
You always have this greed girl. Of course you do.
Desires and emotions of the galaxy's inhabitants sustain these entities. However, they also reach out into the mortal realm through their manifested entities made from the warp known as demons. These hellish creatures are enough to send ordinary citizens insane on sight. They're backed by traitors to the...
Oh god, I'm sorry that I'm pausing again, but this is so cool. I love pictures that are horrors. One of my favorite horror stories I've written is about a picture that's effing people up and killing people. I love that. And it's also in... what was it called? Call of Cthulhu, the game, the PS5 game. There's also this picture and the thing comes out. I love that. Oh god, I love that. I think Chaos currently is my favorite like concept thing.
Imperium, the corrupted Chaos Space Marines. The gods of chaos and their agents can also infect the minds of mortals, and often cults and worshippers may spring up on planets across the Imperium. This is again one reason why the Imperium of Man is so ruthless about purging heretics. While chaos itself in the material world appears as one enemy that simply wages war, it is in fact in an internal conflict within itself. Each of the Chaos Gods fights for domination over the others, and this occupies the majority of their focus and energy.
Also makes sense why they are so ruthless, as you said, but just like the reason you said, but also because like you can turn into a slave of chaos if you like have wrong emotions, I feel, and because the Imperium seems to like create these emotions in its citizens, wow, so they might F themselves over with that. Though I might have misunderstood that. If I did, correct me in the comments. The orcs.
Now everybody knows the orcs, right? Middle-earth and all that crap. Not these orcs. These are more Mad Max Fury Road crossed with British football hooligans, and then you're in the right ballpark.
Okay.
And also in space. Space orcs are likely a genetically designed species focused for hyper-violence and to be almost impossible to permanently exterminate. They are as hilarious as they are dangerous, and their entire society focuses around casual violence.
Yeah, they're a bit hilarious. They are like all the other factions. I was like, oh, this is very like this whole world, and now they're just random space hogs that shoot people. You gotta have your random space hogs that shoot people. Why not? Why not? It's fun. I like that.
The orcs, though, are
And
also
it's so
probably the
different
most
from
sunny
what came
and
before.
optimistic of all races, strangely. Their genetic disposition sets them to see things as generally good and enjoyable, especially when it comes to fighting. And they never really see failure as a negative, because it means you just get to have another go later. They also operate
They're kind of fun.
more on instinct by design than learned knowledge, and their willpower becomes more powerful the more orcs are present, meaning when they are collected en masse, they can literally will things to be true by collective belief.
What?
They also have a strange ability
It's
to just
very
cobble
strong.
together vehicles and weapons from scrap. They also have no real governing structure. Leaders are chosen by progressively being better at smashing their rivals' heads in, until an orc eventually
course.
reaches the position of being a war boss. When orcs collect in huge numbers, they may launch a massive campaign of raiding and attacking anything that's not orc by launching a warg, essentially a huge, no-holds-barred slaughter fest. Anything in the way, best dig in or get the hell out.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
The Tau are one of the
Oh,
newer
God.
races and are fast learning that the galaxy is not a friendly place. The
So they are at the place we were when we tried diplomacy. You could have tried diplomacy with the Tau. And I get why they didn't.
Tau operate similarly to the orcs on a more optimistic level, but that's about as far as their common ground with the orcs goes, because the Tau exist on the
That looks
fringe of
sick.
the Imperium and are unusual as they actively encourage other races to join their cause. They collectively follow an ideology known as the greater good. This is their guiding principle that working together is better than working against one another, as this leads to a stronger, more peaceful society. However, anybody who disagrees with this best prepare for war.
So they are like what humanity could have been had they stayed with diplomacy and peace. Like they are violent peacemakers. Great, got it. And they've got very, very cool. They look like robots, the suits, but they are like these weird gray aliens. Almost look like the gray from like the stories, like when aliens abduct people. They look like they depicted the Tau here. Like I'm colorblind, I don't know if they were gray just now, but very interesting. And that would fit with those stories as well. Very cool.
To be fair though, the Tau do usually attempt significant levels of diplomacy before declaring their target a lost cause. Their military is largely focused around technology and ranged combat, something often mocked and derided by their enemies. The Tau themselves are comparatively weak and use other races absorbed into their faction to fight in close quarters.
Interesting. Ah, there they are.
Tyranids are an unusual exception to all previous Xenos. They do not operate on an ideology, a political structure, or debatably a single leader. They are the most Xenos of Xenos and have begun a steady invasion of the galaxy. They are presumed to have arrived from beyond the borders of the known galaxy.
Oh, wow. Those are their ships. I never saw a Tyranid ship. They look very badass. They look a bit like Cthulhu sentinels from Matrix.
And are hostile in the extreme. They do not wield any technology as we would understand it, or their ships, forces and weapons are biological in origin. Tyranids are one of the most nightmarish factions
wow.
within 40K.
That looks so badass. That picture looks so badass.
Their singular goal is biomass, that is to strip planets of all biological and mineral materials, leaving them barren, dead husks. They assault planets with extreme prejudice and will not cease their assault unless they are damaged to a point where their acquisition of biomass becomes negative to that being expended.
I'm sorry that perhaps this is complete rubbish, but I really like that all these races, each race is a different kind of evil. Like I really like it. Like this is like just pure biological evil. Like just eat and kill. And like the chaos is like this evil that comes from deep emotions and flaws. And the space orcs are evil because they just want to have fun and battle. Like it's just like because they like battle. That's like evil and the Tau are evil because like if you're against the greater good, like that evil that you commit, then it's so cool. All of them are like an evil you can count in the world, but different evils, and they are just made into these races that are fighting which evil is the worst evil. I kind of really like this.
They use all material to birth their forces on their vast bioships and recycle their own units by dissolving them back into the pool of biomass, which then they draw to create anything else they may need. They absorb the genetics of all that they encounter and use this to evolve and create more hostile and efficient creatures and biomachines to achieve their goal. They may also seed and infect planets ahead of time to often use the planet's own inhabitants against themselves when the Tyranids arrive to destroy the world. The Tyranids are controlled en masse by something called the hive mind. This is essentially a broadcasted collective consciousness that enables them the powerful skill of being able to operate as one, but made up of millions of individual entities across the planet.
It's
the
typical
Tyranids
swarm.
are horrific, seemingly unstoppable, and have already wrought terrible destruction upon many others across the galaxy. Many rumour that their already devastating campaigns are only the initial scouting parties to the Milky Way galaxy, and if this is true, the Tyranids could be the ones to end everything.
Yeah, that's why I read up on them. Because of this, it was so horrific. Like they're this unstoppable force that they couldn't stop all these warring factions that are like technologically there and stuff, and they couldn't stop them. And that's what the lore I read. So that didn't change till now. Interesting. So this bigger force, this cosmic ultimate destruction, like it's like a giant black hole that goes into the galaxy and eats it. Like very scary, and that's interesting that there was not more about this in the lore. I thought there would have been more. Like when did I read this? Like 20 years ago. But that I remember that the Tyranids were like this eating thing that ate everything. That's why I kind of found they're scary, and that's what why I read up on them. And yeah, anyway.
While not wanting to touch on the subject of psychic power too strongly in this video, many factions in 40k feature what are known as psykers. These are essentially individuals who can wield what you might describe in other universes as magic powers. Some factions have strong psykers and others have none, and these powers are drawn from a parallel dimension known as the warp.
Yeah, it's from the warp, and these things, aren't these the ones that like pulse, like throw stuff? Like, is that like an artillery, these? What are they called? I forgot what they are called. I know these are like ranged things, but yeah, it's so weird. Like, how can you, like, they all use the warp. So weird. Why is everything connected to the warp? Like the mines.
Individuals who can use these powers do so at considerable risk, as the warp is an unstable and dangerous realm. The relationship between real space and warp space is a complicated one and can affect many aspects of life in the far future, but this is something best covered in another video.
Oh, that was it already. I'm kind of sad.
The takeaway for you today is that Warhammer 40,000 is a world of vast-scale warfare and complex interfactional and internal factional power struggles. 40k is by its very nature often absurd to the extreme. Sometimes this can be somewhat detrimental to its own narrative, because when everything is supersized and extreme in the extreme, suddenly everything looks kind of the same, and then it becomes arguably less impressive. However, 40k just owns its own absurdity, and it's something that you just have to roll with and suspend your disbelief. For many who are obsessed with 40k, the hyper-violent, xenophobic, genocidal nature of its occupants is largely a source for much dark humour. Most people that are into Warhammer, they don't take it too seriously.
So, I like dark humour. I know I am probably a bad person because of that, but I absolutely love dark humour. I love my ass off there. So if I should laugh at something that's really dark, I'm sorry, but I will. I will laugh my ass off then. Can't do anything about it.
But it is also fun to take things in 40k very seriously, because it contains so much detail. But simultaneously, there are many memes and pure nonsensical comedy that comes from 40k because of just how extreme it is. The classic It Sounds Like Heresy being one such example, whereby anyone who dissents from the official line of thinking is declared a heretic and executed on the spot. It's one that I enjoy using all the time in the comments. And the key theme of 40k is purely about war. The lore is a vast, all-encompassing backdrop that stands on its own. but 40k for itself is all about the galactic wars that are unending. It's focused this way because it represents the background for a tabletop war game that is surprisingly about factional war.
Yeah, of course, it's about war. Though I would argue, from what I now know, it's not about war per se, but war amongst evils. Like it's like what evil is the worst evil, and I think that's not like something where to wave aside. It's a very interesting question. Like all these evils that like different kinds of evils that fight each other with different methods, and what happens and why, and beautifully set up.
40k itself operates on a fairly healthy dose of irony. Much of the events and organizations,
even better.
forces and individuals often are the result of half-truths or pure indoctrination, and some of those that are held up as heroes are not what they appear to be, and as usual the context of events are very important, but many things can end up being actually quite subjective. The fact that the Imperium itself has, through its devout worship of the Emperor, now has its state religion embedded in almost everything it does, which is hilarious when you consider the Emperor of Man set out to eradicate religion from humanity entirely.
That is pretty
Warhammer 40k
ironic.
draws from a lot of historical events and ideologies. It also borrows heavily from other settings like Dune, 2000 AD, Lovecraftian influence, obviously Tolkien, and even older texts like Milton's Paradise Lost and the Divine Comedy with Dante and the Inferno. 40k has continued to be fleshed out over time, and it shows no signs of abating. If anything, it's moving forward at a faster pace than ever. It is a universe that has consumed me for some 30 years, and I highly recommend that you allow the darkness of the far future to enter your life.
It did. It did. Like, this already sold me, this video. Like, the last one was already really cool effects and stuff, but like this setup is genius. I love it. I love it. I love it.
You may live to regret it, but you will undoubtedly enjoy it. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, if you have a suggestion for what my next 40k primer should be, tell me in the comments. If you want to learn more about Warhammer 40,000, check out the video on the end screen to the left, or my collected playlist of content to the right. This is Luetin. I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, I assume that's it. Yeah, there are just more pictures. We are gonna analyze the pictures. Just like we'll look at some cool pictures. I'm gonna mute it now because it might be copyrighted music. So this seems to be an orc that's very, very cross, and this seems to be a demon with 3 eyes, spider eyes in its stomach, and like living in the swamp of eternal terror. Great getting to know you. Or is that a Tyrannid? I think that's a chaos, looks like a chaos. Yeah, now we've got another weird creepy crawler that's just diminishing Imperial armies. Great. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a Tyrannid. I don't know which kind of Tyrannid, but... Oh, hello, lady. Great personality. Great halo. Why are there angels? Why are they? I don't know. I will find out why there are angels. Oh god, it's oh god. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna get an epileptic shock, even though I'm not epileptic, but I don't want to jinx it. So, anyway, so this was wow. This was wow. Okay, so as I said, please like his video. It was a great video. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So that's what it's about. I now understand, I think what it's about. And I can't wait to dive into the factions. Like, the most interesting ones currently are Chaos, Tyrannids, and Necrons, I think, for me. But all of them were interesting. Very, very interesting. I think the Empire will probably have the best like societal stories, like of things that happen in society and stuff, and why people are like that. And the orcs might have fun ones, but yeah, there's so much potential here. Very, 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 like, obviously, I mean, it's been running. He said 30 years. No, he was in it for 30 years, so it's might have been even around longer. Pretty cool stuff. So. next time I might look at another like cinema video, and then I will look at one like another narrator, and and so on and so on, and I will listen to all of them. Anyway, thank you so much if you're still here. If you're still here seeing me ramble about this, and I don't know. If I hope this was entertaining for you. Like, if it was, consider liking the video. It helps me out a bit. I'm a small channel. Yeah. So yeah, and subscribe, of course, if you want to know more, like see more reactions to this and stuff like that. My thoughts, like I'm just rambling sometimes, and I hope you excuse that. But so those are like my thoughts on this. Can't wait to do more. Can't wait to do more. This is great. This is brilliant. So I know the 7 factions, 6 alien races and the humans. So what is yours? Like, which one do you like most and why? Perhaps put that in the comments. I'm interested to get your perspectives. I probably love the idea of chaos most because that's what I use in my horror stories as well. Like in some of them, like this idea of human, in my horror stories at least, it's humans' emotions like being corrupted by another strange place. Let's say like that, like being corrupted by another strange place, starting to live their own life, so to speak, and becoming corrupted entities, creatures, events that they like just F people up. Yeah, anyway, not gonna go into that. But like I love the idea of chaos and like these primary things like greed and whatever the other were. I'm sure I will get to know them better. Yeah, can't wait to learn more there, especially there, because those are like if I was to write a story in this universe, though, that would be the faction I write about, I think. But yeah, those are very, very cool things. Necrons were cool. Like Necrons and Tyranids are just because like I like Grey Goose, so I will probably love Necrons. I like the weird insect things that eat everything, so I like Tyranids, and I like emotions, thoughts, and concepts that like mutate and turn on people from another horror dimension. So I love chaos already as well. And yeah, I've rambled again. I'm so sorry, guys. I've rambled in, but anyway, I hope you have a very, very great day. I hope you will enjoy the new year. And perhaps we'll see each other again next year if you're interested in these. And as always, please take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye.